So, ladies, good evening, and a few brave men, I see. We called this initiative and this board Balance in Business for a reason. We didn't call it Women in Business, which might have merited a room like this. How many of you would think it would be better for the ambition of gender balance to have a room that was gender balanced tonight? Anybody think that would be a good idea? So that's a little bit the challenge ahead still on a topic I've been working on for the last 25 years. It's to introduce the notion still that gender balance isn't so much about women. It's, I would argue, increasingly about men. Have you noticed there's a bit of an issue on men recently that's kind of coming up in the press, in the books, in the media, in our leadership systems, in our countries? We've got an issue with men. And so I would argue also that this isn't really a topic about diversity. Women are not diverse. I keep repeating this. I've been saying this for a long time. I would love if some of you would join in. Women have been, as long as I've been on this topic, 60% of university graduates globally, 80% of consumer buying decision makers. Why would any business, any leader, call this a diversity issue? It's the bottom line. Either you're getting the majority of the talent and you're addressing the majority of the customer base, or you're not. It always seemed to me a very strange frame. Hence, balance in business as a kind of obvious, necessary step. And it's not just about helping women and helping women's careers. Increasingly, I would say it's not even about encouraging and supporting women to take maternity leave and getting them back. It's actually getting leaders to address leadership mindsets, cultures, and systems inside organizations so that we don't talk about maternity leave anymore. What do we replace it with? I'm sure you can guess. Thank you. Shared parental leave. Until organizations get as many men to feel free and supported to take parental leave as to encourage women to take maternity leave, we will not move the dial. It won't balance. And so I really invite you all, in your own language and framing, how do you think about this topic? How do you talk about it? How do you frame it? And can you get your leaders and yourselves to question the frame that's been partially successful? We've done well, but there's so much yet to be done. And I think part of the backlash we're facing today, it's a pretty big backlash, partly it would help if we questioned a little bit how we've been driving this topic for the last 20 years. And might there not be some fresh new frames, a little bit more inclusive of the current dominant group in power, which happen to be men, white, pale, male, stale, or any color, depending on the country that you're in. It's still men, generally. How do we bring them in? How do we convince them? How do we really make them the leaders of this change? And you have a number of them in the room to ask, because that's still the challenge ahead. Now, I'm not going to talk for a long time, but let me segue. I have moved from one topic in my last few years into a slightly related topic, because after the rise of women, the next big demographic shift that you may not yet have heard about is the rise of the older. How many of you in the room are what I call Q3, between the ages of 50 and 75? Anybody? All right, yes, absolutely. Very interesting for the IOD, I think. So for many of us, I just want to invite a reflection before I leave this stage of the question of when careers happen and when women in particular, since we have a majority of women here, when women's careers actually hit their peak impact decades. And what I've been watching as I evolve through my career is that date keeps getting a bit later. The demographics of our world are dramatically changing and aging. We're in a world where our old demographic pyramids are morphing into squares, which means there are fewer young people, and our workplaces are becoming 5 generational hubs of generational balance. So it's not just gender balance now that we're going to have to work on, it's also this generational balance. But for women, there's a very particular message in this. I bet you the majority of the room are in what I call Q2, 25 to 50. Those are the crunch years where you almost burn out, you die, you juggle, you do everything everybody, society, your husband, your parents, everybody wants you to do. Have the family, have the career, do everything, become a board member. All of that as fast as you possibly can because the boys do it in Q2. What if our careers have a slightly different shape? And by the way, what if men were to join us in rethinking our shapes? If we're going to live to be 100 and work for 60 or 70 years, maybe it makes sense not to burn out before 50, but to use our Q2 years to build everything, family, career, knowledge, networks, expertise, but then realize that we have another quarter, 25 years of healthy, active, and engaged life ahead, with the kids gone, tucked into school, the partner, maybe gone, maybe still there, but maybe ready to, sit on a board and support your career and take off. There are new compositions between couples across the ages, and what if Q3 becomes women's best, most impactful career years? And if you know that, what if you prepare and navigate your earlier career decades a little bit differently, without those hard choices, without the burnout, but with a new kind of pace that gets you ready for the bigger games? Because let me tell you, ladies, never in the history of humanity have we needed you more. We're going to save the world, or it may sink. So please, hang in there. Thank you very much.